Welcome to Hear Me Out, the show where presenters are shown slides they've never seen before and have to make a coherent presentation. The history of rhyming and poetry as a form of expression for mankind is a fascinating one. It ranges from simplistic rhymes like 1, 2, buckle my shoe, to incredibly complex rhymes, where multisyllabic words are rhymed in really ingenious ways, but all of them communicate something about the core of humans and what we search for. And I believe that it's order. That's what we search for. I think rhyming we find soothing, so to handle something as complicated, and devastating and confounding as cancer is, you might want to turn it into a fun rhyme to hang in your house so you can alleviate the discomfort by laughing. You can find some order in the chaos by saying roses are red, violets are blue, and choosing a little bit of chaos on your own by disrupting the rhyming scheme and ending it with sucks, which doesn't rhyme with any of the words that come before it, right? I think in whether we choose to rhyme or we choose not to rhyme, we are conveying something fundamental about our desire to understand, to either have predictability or to have ordered unpredictability, right? To break that rhyme scheme but have it be a choice, to have that little bit of chaos be something that we decided ourselves, right? Or to seek, the pure order of Little Bo Peep has lost her sheep, right? That is a perfect rhyme that brings us calmness, right? In the storm, the ever constant storm that is living and being a human being on planet Earth. And I think looking through all the various poetry and rhymes that humans have ever written, whether they have been published or not, whether they live in the notes app of your phone or whether you can find them on a bookshelf in a store like Barnes & Noble, I think you learn so much. And it's, yes, you can dive into the words. Like here, the moon tells the sky tells the sea tells the tide, and the tide tells me. You could analyze, the nature themes and what's being referenced and all of that. But I think what is more interesting is to sit with what rhymes and what doesn't rhyme. And what does that mean? And what does that communicate to us about the poet, how the poet wants to make us feel, and our desire to understand the world around us. And, whether we're looking back at old romantic poetry, right, or poetry of the early 1900s, or whether we're looking at poetry written nowadays by very commonly, people set out their typewriters and pay a couple dollars to get a poem from someone. Again, I invite you all to sit with how does the rhyme or the lack thereof make you feel, or even imperfect rhymes. For example, take this one. One of these days I'll unlock the cage. Days and cage, they're not a perfect rhyme. They're similar, like the A, right, is very similar, and it kind of ends with a slightly similar sound, but they're different. So how does that, very imperfect rhyme, how does that make you feel? It's close, but it's not quite, right? You've almost achieved the satisfaction of a perfect rhyme, but not fully. What feeling does that invoke within you, and what does that mean for your life and what you are seeking? And I think oftentimes what all of us are seeking in life is to not just turn the page, but to know what is on that next page. Again, that desire for order and certainty in a deeply chaotic world that simply cannot be truly 100% understood. And so I would ask you all to sit with the thought of what happens if you not only don't know what's on the next page, but you don't turn it yourself, and you simply let the world turn it for you. So I'd like to thank you all today for coming to my lecture on poetry, rhyming, and what it tells us about the human condition.